Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the McDonCast,
the funnest podcast in town. The only podcast around.
That's
we
true.
are back with this monthly series.
It's monthly now. No, it should ramp up again.
Yeah, we just had a very busy season with graduation, exams, and everything going on.
Yeah.
It's just a very crazy last few weeks. But we're getting back in the swing of things.
It's summer.
We're getting back on the McDonCast grind.
That's right. Back to the grind.
Back to the room where we talk about stuff.
That's right. It's been like a month recorded, I think.
Just about.
So, the summer movie season has kicked off. I think the last episode we did was we did our predictions, and we're about a month in.
Yes.
This is the last week of May we're recording. There's still technically 1 weekend of May left, but there's no...
Almost summer movie season.
No, we are.
We're into it, but
we're in Memorial Day. We're past
I think Memorial Day is really when it like officially starts.
To summarize what we've learned by the movies that have come out, which we've seen most of. I think the only thing we haven't seen is Garfield.
We missed Garfield, and I've missed a couple. I didn't see Abigail, which I heard was...
I saw that.
I don't think I've missed anything on our prediction.
No, not that have come out yet.
Except Garfield. That's the only one
yeah,
on our predictions I haven't seen.
We will see it.
Yeah.
What was I? Yeah, right. So basically, to summarize, everything is poopy and sucks right now. Nothing is making any money. No one is going to the movie theaters. The industry is very quickly hemorrhaging all of its internal organs. We're about half of where we were at last year in terms of like total box office.
Well, yeah, because we don't have a Top Gun.
No, Top Gun was 2 years ago.
Yeah, but we don't have like any kind of big.
Nothing is taking off. Everything is bad. I was looking at some of the trades and stuff earlier today or yesterday. Because Furiosa just massively... This Memorial Day weekend was the worst Memorial Day weekend since 1995.
Which is a shame, because Furiosa is like actually... We'll review it later, but it was actually really good.
But I was looking at the trades and stuff, and they were like, guys, it's okay. Deadpool and Wolverine is going to save the summer box office. And I was like, guys, it is May 28th. Deadpool and Wolverine does not come out until July 28th. That is in 2 months.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time in between now and then.
We can't like wait till literally the last weekend of July.
Yeah, we got stuff
before we have our first $100 million movie. That is bad. That is like all new levels of bad.
I mean, Disney needs a win though. After
everyone needs a win. No one's doing well.
Yeah, but like Disney hasn't had a win in a while.
Disney's last win
was Guardians 3.
I believe so. Did they have a cartoon come out last year?
There was Wish.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, they need a win desperately.
Is Wish, Marvel's... Apes is doing okay.
Apes was good too. I didn't like it as much. I had never seen the other Apes movies before. That was my first Ape movie. Then afterwards, I went back and I watched the other recent Ape movies, not the ones from the 60s. I thought they were all really good. I think the newest one is probably the weakest of the four. But it's still good.
I know people really like Rise. Rise is my least. I like War is my favorite one of the recent ones, and then I thought Kingdom was better than Rise, but worse than Dawn and War. But anyway, she's
fine. She's doing it. Podcast dog is.
Yeah. But anyway, Apes. Of like the stuff that's come out, like I think it's going to make about as much as the last one did, unadjusted for inflation, which is still not great because the last one didn't perform well either. But that's like better than everything else. Like the Fall Guy is doing so bad they put it on digital after like 2 weeks.
I feel like if they had just let it ride for a little longer, it would have done okay.
It's holding okay, but it opens so low to where it's like it's not even really worth it. I think
I don't know. I think it's always...
It opened to like 25. It needed to open to like 50, 60 maybe, but it opened to 25.
But the main audience for that movie is not like super motivated to go out and go to the
No,
theaters.
I think that's the problem with everything right now is all of the big movies, all of like the big IP stuff is stuff that does well when people are already excited to go to the movies.
Yeah, like the audience for Deadpool is highly motivated to go out and go to the theater. The audience for Apes, I would argue, is much more motivated to go to the theater. Whereas I think the audience for Fall Guy is more like would still go to the theater, but it would take time. They would have to like be like, "Oh, I heard from my friend that this movie was good." It didn't even have time to do that. And it was literally on digital in like 2 weeks.
There's people like all trying to diagnose what's going on, and I think there is more than one main reason we're like this. Obviously, like it wouldn't be this bad if it was for just one reason. Unless it was like COVID, but it's not. But anyway, I think the main thing that has happened is that viewing habits have changed in 2 massive ways. And one is studios have trained audiences and rewarded them for not going to the theater and just waiting for stuff to come to digital.
Well, okay, because last year we had the same stuff and it was way better last year.
But when stuff comes out and it doesn't explode immediately, the studios aren't like, well, let's wait and put it on digital and let people discover it in theaters or talk about it or whatever. They're just like, we got to recuperate this loss right now. We got to recuperate this loss right now. But
that like just happened this year. Like last year they didn't do that.
Yeah, they have been doing it.
No, but like, okay,
the window between theatrical release and digital release has been getting shorter and shorter and shorter.
The performance of movies last summer was markedly better, like drastically better. And the conditions were almost the same, I would argue. I don't think the production habits of studios changed that much from last year.
No, it's not production habits. It's audience
or distribution habits, I guess.
It's how the audience thinks about stuff. Last year,
did that change over 1 year? I don't think
it's been over just 1 year. It's been since COVID.
But like it's a massive drop off from last year.
I know. Like, let me get to that. Okay. Last year was different because last year the product was a lot heftier. Like if you think about what happened last year, Guardians, Spider-Verse, Little Mermaid, Mission Impossible, like all of these big IPs that
we had a lot of heavy
theatrical audiences, right? Barbie, Oppenheimer. This year is a lot. Last year was like a big IP summer. Like this year is a lot more traditional in terms of like what a normal summer used to be like. Maybe
there's just not a lot of heavy
maybe
hitters.
10 years ago where the IPs aren't as big, but they like stuff still should be doing better.
Yeah.
Like these movies before COVID probably would have been doing fine. The problem is that audiences, one, are geared to wait towards digital because they don't have to wait as long as they did before. I mean, if you think about it, even like 2017, how long it took from a movie to go from theaters to like Blu-ray, which was the next way you would watch it. It would be like 3 months.
I would agree with that if they had done that because the most recent example is last year. And last year people didn't do that. They went to the theaters. Yeah, we had a lot more big like heavy hitter IP movies. But like people also went out to go see lesser known stuff. Like Oppenheimer is not an IP movie. That's like, I mean, Christopher Nolan.
That was my next point.
But you see what I'm saying? Like it's not. I don't think that the audience has changed that much. I think they're just less interested in this lineup.
The other way viewing habits have changed is that before people would, and I think I've talked about this before, people would go to the theater to watch something. Now people, like they would say, let's go to the movies, what should I see, right? Now this is playing in a theater, we have to go see that. People no longer, when they think I want to watch a movie, they no longer think what's in theaters. They say what's on Netflix, and they look on Netflix until they find something
they scroll
to watch.
For a thing.
Like the reason people go to theaters now is when there's a big product that they all want to go see. Like if an average person walked into a movie theater right now and just looked at what was playing and saw Apes or Furiosa or Fall Guy or If, right? Maybe not If. But if they saw one of those movies,
I mean, they'd
be happy. They would probably enjoy it. They'd probably think they got a good deal. The problem is that people no longer go to the movies just thinking, oh, let me pay money and have a good time. I think the price of movies has gotten so high in a lot of places. It's not necessarily high everywhere because the price of tickets. I see a lot of people saying that online, but also the price of movie tickets is drastically different depending on where you live.
And it depends on what screen you watch and what time you go.
Like here where we live, I'd say the average movie ticket price is like $12-ish.
It's about $15.
$12, maybe like $17 for like the XD 3D.
If we see it in IMAX, it can get up to 20.
Yeah, right. But like in LA, like a standard format screening,
you're hitting 20 every
You're
time.
hitting like 25, maybe even like $30.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people when they complain about the price of stuff, they kind of forget about that. And obviously the price of everything is going up. That's just where the economy's at. Inflation's just a thing that has always been in existence.
Yeah.
But I think people are just like so quick to blame all that when in reality, I think movie theaters are just like their role in the whole business has shifted. And I don't know how the studios are going to adjust to that or what they're going to do. Because obviously the theatrical business is not going to be around for very much longer. It's just a very obsolete business model. And like, in terms of where we're at, in terms of technology,
I disagree with that because movies on streaming are not profitable enough to be worth making.
But also, does the younger generation even want to watch movies that much?
Yeah, they go see every horror movie.
We've seen like studies after studies that most people just want to watch like 8-second TikTok videos on their phones.
Yes, obviously the views for an 8-second TikTok clip are going to be way higher.
I'm not saying views. I'm saying we have seen studies that show that young people's attention spans are getting lower and they prefer
Let me finish what I'm saying.
Okay.
Please.
You didn't let me finish.
My goodness.
Sure, go ahead.
You went on for like 10 minutes. I didn't say anything. The barrier to entry for a TikTok clip is much lower. So obviously you're going to see a larger percent of the population trend that way just because it's like way easier to do. There's no cost. You don't have to buy a ticket. You don't have to drive there. Snacks aren't $20. You can eat the goldfish in your cabinet, right? So obviously that's going to be a more preferable experience for a lot of people, especially when you're in an economic downturn, 100%. But I think from a business perspective, movie theaters will still be around for quite a while because TikTok views don't really occupy the same space as a movie experience. A movie experience is more along the lines of like going to an opera or going to an event. And those are much more niche things. I think maybe they will become more niche.
I don't think it'll ever go away completely. I think it'll become like do you remember arcades in like the 80s and how those were like a really big thing? And then when home video game consoles exploded, like all the arcades died. And now they're still around, but they're just like way fewer of them and it's more of a niche thing. Yeah. And or it's like part of like a main event where it's like a bowling alley and an arcade.
See, I'm thinking
like I think it'll be something more like that where there will be way fewer movie theaters.
Yeah,
and I think it'll be more of a niche kind of thing where the studios won't pour like the wide release $200 million movie won't be around anymore. Like it'll be like re-releases of stuff, smaller stuff plays in these smaller theaters, but like the whole model of how it is now of the blockbuster, I think that'll go away.
I mean, we still have massive breakout blockbuster hits,
but they're getting fewer and fewer.
But that's just because the market was so oversaturated for a while. But I think it will correct and it'll return back to normal.
I would say that would be normal if like if the medium stuff was doing okay. The problem is that the blockbusters are getting fewer and fewer, and everything else is not doing well.
But that's because every single movie has a blockbuster budget. That will correct itself eventually. Right once the studios figure out, hey, maybe Fall Guy doesn't need to cost $300 million. Then that will correct itself.
Well, but like even Fall Guy was like fairly responsibly budgeted. It only cost like $150 million.
I think Fall Guy was just like poorly marketed and go see it. But I think generally speaking, I think it will eventually correct out and it'll return to normal. I think we're still in a very disruptive state right now.
But also like why was it so?
Because all of the issues that you're identifying existed before this. Like
but we've been going like even last year we weren't as good as we were before COVID.
Yeah, but
like there is still a shift, and I understand you're probably going to say that it's because people were still like not going back to theaters, but like we're at the point where the people who stopped going to movie theaters because of COVID are never coming back. Like if they were going to come back in the last 3 years,
theaters has shrunk.
I think it was like 1 in 5 theaters have lost like 1 in 5 moviegoers that were just like people who just no longer go to the movies at all.
Yeah.
I think the base, like the customer base is smaller than it was before. And it's harder and harder to get the customer base that exists to like get off their couch and go to the movie theaters. Because also the movie theaters are getting expensive, but also the streaming services are getting more expensive. So the people who are paying for the streaming services they think I need to get more bang for my buck out of my streaming service. I should just stay home and watch something on this. I think that's also changing as well. So I think,
but all the streaming services existed even before COVID, and this wasn't a huge issue.
Well, but Netflix was doing stuff the way they did, but Disney Plus, when Disney Plus launched, I think the original thing was like Disney movies 6 months after they're in theaters. I think we're at the point where like some stuff has like a 2 to 3 week window.
I mean, Dune 2 just came out onto streaming.
But like that's the thing I don't understand is Dune 2 did really well, so that got a long window, right? The stuff that isn't doing super well when it just comes out, like that's the stuff that they're immediately dropping. Like
I think what we're seeing right now is a onslaught of extremely poor business decisions.
Yes, there's 100% a
manifesting in low turnout. I think once that corrects itself, and eventually it will, eventually the board is going to be like, okay, this marketing guy's awful, we're firing him, we're hiring a better one, so on and so forth. Eventually, I think that will level back out and more people... I think it's just going to take a lot longer than they initially thought for people to return to theaters. I think the viewing habits of the average audience completely changed during COVID. That they like their routine of like people who did go to the movies every week didn't go anymore, and then a lot of them just never came back because they never got back in the routine. And I don't think there was enough to bring them back, at least initially after COVID kind of subsided. And I think we're seeing just the long-term effects of that. And there isn't an arm in the industry to get people back into it. But eventually, new people will get exposed to it, and they will replace the people who left. It's just a matter of time.
I saw someone say that what could potentially happen is that I don't know if it's an antitrust law, the law that was put in place to prevent studios from owning
all of the things,
theater chains. Mm-hmm. If that would change, in order for like the studio, like if that law would go away. In order for the studios to be more incentivized to like keep the theatrical business afloat, because they would no longer
make the Disney Magic Centers.
Well, they would literally like make that a thing. I think
that would be worse, because that's just going to be worse for the consumer, and then people are going to be less likely to go.
How would that be worse for the consumer?
Because if you have to see the movies in my theater, and I own all of the movies, and you have to go to my theater only, and I'm the only one you're allowed to see the movies in, then I'm going to make the prices $50 a ticket for Deadpool and Wolverine, and you just have to suck it up, Buttercup. Whereas now we have like there's a bunch of different options for places you can go to theaters. This one has the best seats. This one has the best popcorn. This one has the best whatever. And you pick whatever you think is the most valuable. Or maybe this one's the cheapest tickets. Maybe their seats suck, but whatever, I'm going anyway. If you limit competition, you're going to get worse outcomes for the consumer. That is just a fact of economics.
I don't think they would, like...
Because that's why that law was passed in the first place. Was because it got so bad for the consumer that lawmakers were like, well, hey, I like going to the movies, and you ruined it.
But I'm just trying to think, like, what would motivate the studios to, like, try to keep the theatrical business afloat? Because they have
fact that they have to.
Because they have pivoted so much into streaming.
They'll unpivot.
But also, like you say, they have to. If you ask someone 15 years ago if the studios needed linear television networks to stay afloat, you would say yes. But they don't, and they're transitioning out of it. They're all openly
Here's why it's very different. The budget or the return on investment for a streaming series is much more in line, if not much greater, than the return on investment for a cable series. It is just a strict benefit to make a streaming series most of the time.
I don't think that's true at all.
For 90% of shows, that's probably the case, unless your show just like doesn't get viewed at all. But for a big budget show, the return on investment is going to be higher on streaming, almost always. At least initially it was, for sure. Even if that's not the case, that trends more to what I'm saying anyway. Whereas movies have much higher budgets and much higher investment in them.
Overhead.
The only way to get that back is by marketing it through a theater. That's the only way to recoup that cost. You're not going to get a deal good enough from a streaming service
that is
to
the
make
only
it
way
worth
now.
doing.
I mean, before physical media died, there was DVD, and DVD accounted for like half of the movie business, and that's gone. That's the biggest thing that's driven.
Yeah, that's gone too.
That, if you actually want to trace it, like the death of the DVD is actually the thing
that killed a lot of low budget movies. That
killed the mid budget movies.
Yeah, that didn't really kill like the.
It didn't kill the
major
blockbuster,
studios
but it also made it so that everything is a blockbuster. Everything costs upwards of $150 million.
Yeah,
now. And that's why.
Well, unless it's made for streaming.
Well, even streaming stuff costs that much. I mean, Apple is putting $200 million.
How much did Money Heist 2 cost?
I'm pretty sure that's a show.
No, Money Heist is a Pretty sure it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? How much does like your run of the mill, bottom of the barrel Netflix movie cost?
Oh, like your average like teen rom com?
Yeah,
that's probably like
that's probably like $50 million
thing. But also, streaming is such a weird, because like what makes a streaming service like. You can track viewership numbers, but like really what attracts people to streaming shows?
It's harder to tell.
It's way harder to track. Where like before, I don't know, you could track like individual DVD sales, TV ratings, like.
But they can still do that. They can track individual series views and be like, okay, people like this series, make more of this.
Yeah, I guess. But I don't know. It's just the model is so different now, and we're definitely, the way things have been are definitely not the way things are going to be. The theatrical business is going to have to change because there's obviously a problem here where people are just straight up just not going, and I don't really know what's causing that. And I do think the product is part of it. It has not been a good year in terms of quality for movies. I mean, I think there's been like 2 or 3 movies this year. I would say like
we're actually solid
right
movies.
now. Go to the theater to go see this.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of stuff I was like, this is okay, and then there's a lot of stuff that was legitimately terrible. So
most of what we have seen this year has been turbo garbage.
I've seen a lot of turbo garbage.
There's been, quite honest. I want to say, yeah,
and some maybe
of it like 2 or 3.
Some of it's been on streaming, so I'm not really like counting that.
What are the movies we saw like really early on in the year?
Oh well, January is January.
Not in January, but like I feel there was one movie that we saw recently that I thought was really, really good. I don't remember.
Furiosa?
No, not Furiosa. I mean, Furiosa was really good, but it wasn't like life-changing type of movie, I feel like there was one that we saw recently that was like really, I don't remember.
But like Madam Web
was turbo garbage. Argyle was turbo garbage.
Kung Fu Panda 4,
turbo garbage.
Mean Girls,
it was fine.
Ghostbusters 4,
it was barely okay.
The Beekeeper.
Oh, I forgot we saw that completely.
Bob Marley, One Love.
That movie sucked.
Drive Away Doll. I
didn't see that.
The Frankenstein. Oh,
didn't see that, or I didn't see that.
Again, a lot of stuff.
I thought there was like one that I thought we thought was really good. I don't remember.
You really like Civil War.
Civil War was pretty good, but it wasn't.
You like Monkey Man? Did we see Monkey?
I didn't see. I still haven't seen Monkey Man. Is it in theaters still or no?
No, it's out of.
Okay.
In the void.
See, stop taking the things before I see them.
Well, that was like 2 months ago.
So
you had.
Dune was in the theater for like 1,000,000 years.
Yeah, Dune was really good. Everything else this year's been not great. I'm already at the point where I've just been looking at that 2025 list of movies coming out, and I'm just like,
2025 is stacked.
2025 is stacked. 2024 is
nothing.
It's just scraps.
Nothing happening.
I mean, this week is nothing. The week after that is Bad Boys 4.
Maybe that'll be funny.
Which, honestly, if it just does okay, is maybe going to be like the 3rd highest grossing movie of the summer.
That might be the summer movie.
Yeah, for real. If it's like, even if it's just okay.
Like, okay, let's say hypothetically, Deadpool and Wolverine awful. For some reason, it's garbage. Maybe
it's still going to be
they make too many penis jokes.
I
right?
can guarantee
it'll still make a ton of money.
Worst case scenario in terms of like quality of the movie itself. Worst case scenario for Deadpool and Wolverine, like it's very bad. It's the number 2 movie of the summer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, I think if it's turbo garbage and Bad Boys is like fine, it could end up being number 1.
No,
I could see that happening.
Never in a million years would that ever happen.
If it's turbo like full on
to
the
be
Marvels.
number 1, Bad Boys 4 would have to be Top Gun Maverick for it to be number 1.
Okay, but Top Gun Maverick is like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich of a movie. There's like very little that makes it good. It's just like really fine. But like, I think Bad Boys could also be really fine.
I mean, no, it's never going to be. Also, Bad Boys 4 is rated R, so it's got that handicap too.
Yeah, that's true.
But also,
maybe that's why Furiosa didn't do very well.
I do think that was part of it. I think Memorial Day weekend for an R-rated movie is probably
that's a hard sell.
It should have come out last week
because everyone's going to see it with their kids because it's Memorial Day weekend.
It's supposed to be a fan. Like last year, Little Mermaid came out this weekend. Like that's a way better
and
fit.
that popped off because it's a family movie.
Like I would have put Apes this weekend.
Yeah, I think that would have. Honestly, Apes would have killed.
I don't know, they're different studios. I would have put Apes this weekend, and I would have put Furiosa the weekend Apes came out. Because then it would have been Fall Guy, Furiosa, which is kind of counter programming the Fall Guy audience, and then which has got that family thing, and then Planet of the Apes, which is a good middle ground again, where you can
where you can kind of
the kids and the teenagers can go see that. Like I would have done that because Apes did okay, but also Apes was put in a really bad spot where it was like the movie that was supposed to kick off the summer just flunked and fell flat on its face and like
it kind of like
pooped in its pants and like
it just like went, oh, okay,
yeah,
let's
and
go,
so like
guys. It's like,
so like
oh, that's our
Apes was put in that spot,
Yeah.
and Apes is not. And again, we talked about this when we did our predictions. Like these franchises are not like
they're not big grand slammers.
Historically, they've never even been big.
Except Bad Boys for some reason, but all the other ones have been like.
But even Bad Boys did like absurdly well for a Bad Boys movie. Like it did like really well for what it was.
Yeah, but they've all done really well.
But like
for some reason,
Apes, the last Mad Max movie won like several Oscars, got nothing but glowing reviews, and maybe didn't even make any money in the theatrical.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it made a lot of money theatrically.
It didn't. It made money later on.
Yeah,
like
as the audience
home video sales for that were like really high because they like sold like 5 different versions of the movie.
Yeah,
but like Fury Road, which again, there are no bad reviews of Fury Road like out there. Like
everyone seems to really like it. Yeah.
Everyone loves Fury Road. Like even that didn't do super well. The last Apes got great reviews, but didn't do super well. Like, and this was in a way better market when these movies came out. This is 2015, 2017.
Yeah, none of these are big studio-defining franchises.
Yeah, you put these movies out now when the marketplace is so bad. Yeah, they're all gonna immediately drown. Like, there's nothing supporting them. Like, even Furiosa, which is getting good reviews, like that can't even help.
It's not doing great. Yeah.
It's just doing poorly.
Also, I think that movie is a very hard sell for people who don't know what it is. Do I have to watch the other Mad Max movies?
Maybe we'll talk about this more when we talk about the movie itself, but I think that movie took 5 years too long to get made.
And it's still unclear to, like, that I've seen it and I understand what it is, anyone can go see that movie and have a good time. But before I saw that movie, I was like, should I watch the other ones? Do I need to be familiar with the world here? What am I getting into? I don't really know.
Like if that movie had come out in 2019 and like Fury Road was more recent, I think it would have
done very well.
But like 9 years,
that's a hard sell.
A long time. That's literally almost a decade.
Because it came out in like 2015, right? Fury Road.
Fury Road came out in 2015. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I remember the trailers for it.
Yeah. But anyway, should we talk about some news now?
Yeah, let's get into the actual podcast.
Sam, what do you want to talk about first?
All right, number 5. Let's give you guys a brief rundown of today's docket. We got Wake Up Dead Man, Xbox studio closures, Spider-Man Noir TV show layoffs around the places, and we got a bunch of Marvel news updates. So let's start off with Wake Up Dead Man, I guess. That's number 5.
Oh, oops, that's the one, Sam, that's the one thing I didn't pull up.
How do you don't you just know the things?
I do. So Ryan Jansen got on Twitter and he announced that the title for the next Benoit Blanc mystery is Wake Up Dead Man.
I'm cool with that.
I'm in fall 2025.
It's
got some casting. Josh O'Connor from Challengers.
Which one is he?
One of the
is he black hair or blonde hair?
He's the black hair one.
Oh, black hair guy. Okay.
Yep. And Kaylee Spaney are both going to be in it. Kaylee Spaney was just in Priscilla. She was Priscilla in the movie Priscilla.
What's Priscilla?
About Priscilla Presley.
Elvis's sister?
Elvis's wife.
I didn't
You remember that movie?
No.
Okay, never mind. It came out like 3 months ago. Anyway.
Yeah, I did not hear about it.
She was also in Civil War. She played the younger journalist in Civil War. The younger
okay.
She was in that. And then Andrew Scott is also in it. He was just in Ripley and All of Us Strangers, and he was in Fleabag.
Okay, I've seen none of them.
Yeah, you've seen none of them. But he's also going to be in it. So they're starting to cast it. They're going to shoot later this year. Looking forward to that. Those are some of my favorite recent movies.
And also, Benoit Blanc movie, always good.
Bro, Benoit Blanc is like...
He's the best character.
Top 5 fictional characters ever.
Yeah,
created,
he's just
quite honest.
Awesome.
Like, you could put him in any movie. I'd be like, I'm on board with this.
It's like, what if Sherlock Holmes just pretended to be dumb all the time?
What if he was Foghorn Leghorn?
Yeah, that is awesome. I love that.
But yeah, no, I hope he makes like... And also, my favorite part about the Benoit Blanc movies, as opposed to like the James Bond stuff, which Daniel Craig has also done, is that he actually seems to enjoy making these.
Yeah, he's actually likes the character and so likes to do them.
Yeah, because and I think it's mostly just because James Bond was just like such a nightmare in
such a draining role.
Where like he has to like run around shirtless and pretend to fight people all the time.
Yeah.
And like all he does is Benoit Blanc is just kind of like walk around in funny outfits.
I say, you've done a murder.
Like the hardest thing he has to do is the accent when he's Benoit Blanc, as opposed to like James Bond where he had to like do like months
he's jumping off buildings and exploding
like,
and all. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I hope he makes like 6 of these.
Yeah, no, I want this to be one of those things where they just make them all the time.
Just every 3 years.
Yeah.
Just one of these. That's all I want.
And then like not
and
even
I'll be fine.
Like it gets to the point where like no one even watches them. But like they just keep making them.
You want there to be like 37 of them?
Yeah, no, I want it to be like Friday the 13th where there's just like 80 of them and like no one's seen like more than half of them.
But anyway, I'm looking forward to that. God, 2025, just a way better,
just a much more optimistic climate.
Fantastic Four, Superman.
Did you see Anthony Starr said that Homelander would beat Superman because he would use babies as a human shield and then Superman would be it.
That's not a terrible strategy.
That's actually like that was like
but
when he first said that I was like, dude, you're an idiot. And then he was like, babies as a human shield. I was like, oh, okay, what? Maybe he's honest.
Got a point, but also then Homelander can't go on the offensive holding baby.
Well, he would just punch him. Homelander wouldn't care if he punched through a baby.
Then if he punches him through the baby, then the baby's not.
He'll go get another baby.
Superman,
have like
Superman would move.
I imagine Homelander would just have like a cart of babies.
Superman would move faster than Homelander could, though.
Okay, technically, yeah, because Superman's defeated. Was it Baby Welder or Dog Welder? Who was the one who just had a suit made of babies?
I think it was Dog Welder.
Yeah, Dog Welder at one point.
Dogs together.
Yeah, Dog Welder is a villain who welds dogs together. We're not getting into that. But at one point, he had a suit made of babies because he thought that no superhero would be able to defeat him if he had a suit made of babies. And I think it was actually partially successful. But yeah, any superhero who's like fast enough.
There was 2 Dog Welders.
Yeah, again, I'm not getting into Dog Welder lore. But my point is, Superman would just super speed and like put the babies down. But like just that idea, I was like, oh yeah, maybe that would initially catch.
No, again, I think Superman could just fly to space though, and then Homelander would have to chase him.
Homelander breathe in space?
Maybe, but the babies definitely couldn't. And so if the babies die in space, like,
well, I assume Superman would be stopping.
Superman would be trying to save the babies, right?
Well, that's number one. Number two, he would be stopping Homelander from doing something. So if Superman just abandons mission and goes to space, then like
Homelander's I feel like say Homelander just picks up 2 babies, right, and just holds them in front of him. Like Superman would just like speed around, it's like break his arm.
Yeah, he could blitz
grab
Homelander
the babies,
sure.
And then just beat him up. Like it wouldn't like that plan would work for maybe a couple seconds.
It might work long enough for Homelander to accomplish whatever his like evil scheme is.
But Homelander doesn't have schemes. He's kind of just like doing whatever
evil idea he had, you know.
He just kind of like wanders around killing crowds of
people. Yeah,
just
kind of like, being evil.
Just like jerking it on
turbo wanking.
Yeah, like it's not like he ever has a scheme that he's trying to like get away with.
Well, he doesn't like it when people don't like him.
And Superman would definitely not like it.
Yeah. So
but
okay,
then, I guess Homelander would be on the offensive in that situation.
Yeah, so in the most realistic scenario, Homelander would be doing evil things. Superman would like learn about it. He'd be like, "Hey, everyone, this guy's doing evil things." And then Homelander would show up and try to silence him. I assume like immediately he would try to bully him, like put on a bravado, and Superman's just gonna like not care. Yeah. And then Homelander would go on the offensive because he would get upset and he wouldn't realize like, oh, this is the only guy on Earth who's like actually way stronger than me. And then he would
because we never really see Homelander like
go all out.
Well, like fight anyone. Like most of what he does is like just laser beam stuff, and then if the laser beams don't work, he just kind of like
beats them up,
runs away.
Yeah,
like in terms of like who would win in like an actual like fight. Like Homelander can't really fight because he never has to fight anyone.
Yeah.
So like put him in a situation where like he's somewhat equal. Like we see that in The Boys. Like they get to that episode
as soon as,
where it's Soldier Boy and Butcher together. Like as soon as like he's like
even somewhat
he's like thrown off because like he actually has to like try a little bit.
Yeah, and Soldier Boy at least had like some training.
Has like comparable strength to him. So like put him in a situation where a guy is like more powerful than him.
He's not gonna know.
He's not gonna know what to do.
He would probably panic and run away.
I think that's what he would do more than anything. I think he'd just run.
Yeah, and Superman would be able to catch him because he's like
way faster,
infinitely faster.
Does Homelander have super speed? I don't think he does. I think he just flies.
Homelander just has flight strength, invulnerability, and laser vision. Now he doesn't have any kryptonite weakness, but
But also just hitting
Also,
him really
Superman
hard.
also doesn't really have a kryptonite weakness like half the time, so...
Well, Homelander's weakness is just being hit really hard.
Yeah.
Like, that works several times.
Or like having the ability to erase powers, just that's your power. That also is... All right, anyway. Xbox studio closures. They closed up all of the studios that they said that were really cool and good and that they wanted to and liked.
Yeah, didn't they? They were just like...
So, do you remember Hi-Fi Rush, the game? It shadow dropped on the Switch a little while ago. It was a Xbox.
I've know nothing
Game
about
Pass
it.
exclusive.
I've heard the name.
So it's sort of a rhythm combat game where like you have to do stuff in time to the beat, but it's sort of a 3D beat 'em up type game. Great reviews. It was a Game of the Year contender. It won a bunch of awards at the Game Awards. And Xbox said explicitly that they could not have been happier with the game's performance in all metrics, including Game Pass subscriptions and players. I don't have the exact quote, but they basically said almost verbatim that. And then they closed down the studio. And then the day after they closed the studio, one of their executive guys was like, we need to focus on games with smaller budgets that give us prestige. Oh, you mean like that game with a smaller budget that got you a bunch of awards? Like that game? Is that what you meant? More of those? So that's fun. And then they also closed Arcane Austin, the developer behind Redfall, which was a notorious failure.
Yeah.
However,
but they also spent way too much money on that game.
That's one thing. And all of Arcane Austin's like previous titles had done fairly well. Again, I don't have them pulled up, but I know they had a fairly decent track record. And most people at the studio actually did not want to make this game, and they were kind of rushing through it to get to their next project, which now, of course, is not going to happen since gone. But that was the intent for this game and for that studio.
Arcane Austin. They did... Oh, they were supposed to do a Blade game.
Yeah, not anymore.
Not going to happen. Oh, they did Deathloop.
Yeah, Deathloop did really well.
They've done some of the Wolfenstein spin-offs.
Which have all done pretty well.
They did Prey. Last Prey.
I don't know what that is.
Dishonored 1 and 2 was them. I know people...
Yeah, they've done a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's really lame. And following these two studio closures, that officially puts us with Xbox having closed more studios this year than they have released games.
And will they release more games by the end of the year?
No.
No. Bro, what? We talk about the movie business a lot.
What is going on?
What is going on in the gaming industry?
What is happening?
Like
it's so bad.
It's so bad, and it's so bad for no reason.
It's never been worse.
Like I literally don't understand what caused this. Like it was, in terms of like money being made, it was better than it had ever been in recorded history in 2020, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And like 3 years later, for some reason, every studio is closed. There are no games being made. And like no one's buying anything. I don't understand what happened.
Okay, here's what I think happened. So during COVID, everyone bought video games.
Yes.
Everyone got into video games.
Yep.
So everyone bought consoles and video games.
Yep.
That year. All of the executives were like, "Oh my God, this will never end, and we should invest everything right now." And so they did that, and they put all their money in right now. We need to make more stuff right now. And they made a bunch of stuff right then. And then people were like, but I just bought all of the video games and all of the consoles that I want because I just did that just now. You just saw me do that. Why did you think I was going to do more of that? I already did it. And then everyone was like, what? You're not going to keep doing this forever? And then all of the money dried up because people were not going to do that forever, obviously. And then now no one has any money and the whole industry is kind of collapsing except Nintendo, who is the only one who didn't do that.
Well, my question is like, what happened to like the major developers? Like, what are all of Sony's first-party studios doing? Like, why are they not getting anything out? And I know the explanation is that like the budgets have been getting bigger and the games are taking longer to make, but like they're not.
You have nothing else in development.
The games themselves aren't longer, and they're not like so graphically different where it should take twice as long as it was during the last generation.
Yeah, like the difference in performance from. What are we in 7th or 8th gen now? 7th gen?
I think we're in 8th.
The difference from Xbox One to Xbox Series is not that much.
It should not mean 5 more years of development time than
and
previously.
the difference between the PS4 and the PS5 is not. It is smaller than any other console leap in history.
Yeah.
So then, why is the gap in development time
so big?
At least,
and why are
to be
the
the longest
getting
in history?
so high?
Yeah, what are we doing?
GTA, what is it like $1 billion, like $1.5 billion for GTA 6 or something? Like,
yeah, it's like $500 million budget.
Like apparently Naughty Dog's next game is also like ridiculously expensive. Like what is happening? Where's this money going?
Now GTA 5, I kind of understand to an extent, or GTA 6, because given how Rockstar operates, that is going to be their game for maybe the next 20 years.
Yeah, they probably just won't do anything else after
This
that.
might just be the game they make forever now.
But like all of the first-party studios are just spending an exorbitant amount on these games that are like virtually...
And they're almost always
that
worse.
Are virtually looking the same, playing the same, and the same length as the games they were making for half that amount of money.
And all of the big AAA games, at least it seems to be this way, have been getting worse and worse year over year than their predecessors.
Uncharted 4 still looks better than 90% of the games in the market.
Well, look at Starfield.
Yeah.
Almost everyone abandoned that game within a few months just because it was so boring.
Yeah.
People still love Skyrim. That game's doing better than Starfield is.
Yeah.
And Starfield took longer to make and had a bigger budget. And it doesn't even look that different. I played it. It looks kind of not that much different.
Yeah, and I just don't know what's going on. And I think it's different for some companies and others. Like Nintendo is kind of at a low right now, but that's also because they're on the last year of a console generation.
Which they wanted to end years ago and weren't able to, so they're kind of just stuck in limbo.
Well, they're just Nintendo is definitely working on stuff that is coming out next year, and they're just saving it for the new system.
Yeah, well, because again,
like
I
that's
think
different than where Sony's at. Where Sony is 4 years into the PS5 and have
nothing,
and just have literally nothing ready to go.
Yeah, like I think the Switch, I think they wanted to make a Switch Pro, they weren't able to because of chip shortages, and so we got the Switch OLED, and then so whatever games they had in development for that, they either had to rework or they had to shelve for the Switch 2, and then they were supposed to release the Switch 2 holiday this year, and for whatever reason, we don't really know, it got delayed until next year. And so we have another
Nintendo
lull
just
period.
Likes to launch stuff in the spring.
And so Nintendo is just kind of sitting around. But they also
like to be different.
Yeah, they just like to do their own thing. But also their games are doing better and are usually more fun than pretty much everything everyone else is doing.
Even they have put out 3 somewhat major releases this year. I think we
had the Peach game.
We had Peach.
Wonder came out just towards the end of 2023.
We had Thousand Year Door remaster just came out. So did the RPG remaster.
And those are both doing fairly well as far as I can tell.
Even that, Sony has put out, I think the only thing I've seen Sony put out this year is The Last of Us Part 2 remastered.
And didn't they make Foam Stars last year? Remember Foam Stars?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so they made a Splatoon knockoff called Foam Stars.
Okay.
It's doing really.
And I don't think Xbox,
I think they already shut the.
And I don't think Xbox has made a game since Halo Infinite. I'm 100%. I don't think they've made a single one.
Well, they made Hi-Fi Rush and then closed down the studios.
So they're not making anything now.
Well, they made a Starfield, which no one cared about because it was boring, and they made Redfall, which sucked and was horrible.
Even Starfield, didn't that get delayed an entire year?
Starfield was delayed 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, I mean, what is going on? Now, game delays have always been a thing,
but it got delayed a lot.
But it's getting worse.
And Cyberpunk just came out today. Yeah, they just finished development.
I thought Cyberpunk
they just finished
out 3 years ago.
Well, they finished development today.
Oh,
which means the game came out today.
Oh, Hellblade 2 just came out.
Oh yeah, that game's 5 hours long.
That's what I heard. Yeah, I heard it's shorter than the last one.
It took 5 or 6 years.
And it took 6 years.
When did it come out? 2017, the original one.
Yeah, 2017.
Yeah, so that's too many years.
That's Ninja Theory. That's one of the studios they bought. That's not one of the ones they closed, but that's one of the ones Xbox bought.
Well, it's next on the chopping.
They made that game as an independent studio. Got bought by Xbox.
Became major.
Got a surge of cash and resources.
And then suddenly we're unable to do anything.
Took longer to make the game than the last time and made less game than before.
Now, honestly, I don't mind it being 5 hours long if that's a dang good 5 hours.
I'm pretty sure it cost full price.
Well, I have Game Pass, so to me it's free.
Okay, but to people who buy video games,
Tucker, if you own
a 5-hour game should cost no more than $30.
If you own an Xbox, you're not buying video games. You're buying Game Pass. You're not. Xbox doesn't sell video games. But even
so, I don't think I would not like. That's shorter than the last game. Like I would not feel that's like enough bang for my buck.
Yeah. Well, okay, and Sony just released Stellar Blade, a game that's doing very well, a full game that everyone seems to say is at least pretty good. And that kind of just came out of nowhere. Like, what is Xbox doing? Sony's doing nothing, and they're still doing more than Xbox. They had one horny guy make a game about a hot lady, and it's destroying Xbox because they're just not doing anything. They're literally just doing nothing.
What is PlayStation?
Literally just Stellar Blade. I think that's the only game they've released this year.
Name PlayStation Studios. Boop. List of Sony Interactive Entertainment video games. Here we go. PlayStation 5. What have they done? What have they done? What have you done for me recently?
What have you done for me lately?
Last of Us Part 2 remastered.
Okay, so a game that was on the PS4.
But Sam, it's been remastered.
Well, but it was on the PS4.
See, Sam, it was in 14.
Okay, keep reading the list.
It was in 1080p 30 frames per second, but now 1080p 30 frames per second.
Wow.
I know what you're thinking. How is that remastered? They also put out Helldivers.
That's the end of that statement.
They also put out Helldivers 2.
Doing banger game.
But they didn't technically make that. Didn't they buy? They just buy.
Well, so they're just publishing it. Arrowhead Studios, which was an indie developer, made the game, and Sony is hellbent on ruining the game.
Ruining it because they keep trying to make you like sign up for a Sony account.
So you know about the whole thing that happened with that, right?
Yeah, because they did it and then everyone said no.
They did it. Everyone said, well, PlayStation Network isn't available in our countries. We can't. And so it got delisted. And then Sony was like, all right, we'll make it so you don't have to log in. And then they never relisted the game in those other countries.
Rad.
You might as well have just kept the login thing.
And let's see, MLB The Show 24?
That doesn't exist.
MLB The Show 24?
Oh, okay.
Stellar Blade?
That's their only game that is actually a new game.
And the only other stuff they have announced for this year is a game called Concord and I guess a port of Until Dawn.
So all that they made this year was a somehow hornier version of Nier Automata, and that's it.
Hold on. What if I told you in 2025? Death Stranding 2. 5 years into the system. Big exclusives, Spider-Man 2,
Did Death Stranding 2 even do, or Death Stranding 1 even do well? I remember everyone not liking it.
Being on clearance a lot.
It became a meme immediately because it was insanely boring.
I know people have...
now, it is the only Strand type game.
It is the only Strand type game.
A second Strand type game might be too much for the industry to bear, actually.
I don't know if we can do
Can we handle a second Strand type game? Can we handle
more than one Strand type game? I know, like, critically... people have decided they like it now.
Well, no, they like the cutscenes. Because you can watch the cutscenes on YouTube.
And it's being made into a movie at A24, I believe.
Yeah, so, like, they like the movie. But, like, they don't like playing the game. Because the game sucks.
But what if there was more Strand?
Well, then we'd have another one of those.
What if it was, as the title says, on the beach?
That the subtitle?
That's literally the subtitle.
Well, then I guess we'll be on the beach this time.
Weren't
there beaches in the first one?
We're going to be more on the beach than we've ever been before.
We're going to have the best beach. The biggest beach you've ever seen.
It's going to be so good. The greatest beach.
We're going to have the best Strand type gameplay. You're going to be walking from here to there. You're not even going to know how far you've walked. You're going to say, Kojima, you did it again. We're walking even more this time.
You're going to say, I walked so little under Biden. Crooked Joe Biden made us walk so little, but now we get to walk so much.
Now we're walking so much more. We doubled all the cutscenes.
It's all cutscene. No more game.
No more game. We got rid of the game.
It's all cutscenes.
I don't know why that seems like an accurate portrayal of the studio.
Just Trump as a video game
developer.
Trump
selling, yeah. Trump as a video game developer.
They say they hate the walking. Take out all the walking. They say they don't want to do walking anymore.
So we just made a movie and another movie, but this is a different movie.
And we're going to charge $150 per game. It's a 2-hour movie, but it's $150.
Alrighty. And yeah, that's just very sad.
Yeah. Oh, and Pixar has layoffs also.
Well, we haven't gotten to layoffs yet. First, we got to talk about Spider-Man Prime Noir series on Amazon Prime.
Sam, remember Spider-Man Noir?
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
What if he was a live action guy, but also it's a TV show now?
I'm fine with that.
What if he was Nicolas Cage?
Nicolas Cage already.
But what if he's Nicolas Cage, but Nicolas Cage is really here this time?
That's even better. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, he's gonna star as a grizzled older superhero living in 1930s New York City.
Do you think he's gonna have a Rubik's Cube in the series? And it's gonna be the only object in color in that universe?
I do think it's gonna be in black and white, but I don't think
it'll be in black and white. Obviously.
I don't think he'll have the Rubik's Cube.
Maybe it'll be like in a drawer.
I think it'll be a different Spider-Man Noir than the other Spider-Man Noir.
But I think it would be cool if it was.
But I also think this is going to be like for adults, and like that.
Well, that character was still like the same Spider-Man Noir character. He just didn't kill people in the movie.
But he'll probably kill people in this.
But we knew he had killed people because he had a gun. So
I also don't think he's going to wear like a Spider-Man outfit.
But that suit is so good.
I think he's just gonna. Well, I think he'll wear like the trench coat and like the hat and have a gun and stuff. But I don't think he'll wear like.
He'll have a mask, but he'll only use it in like one episode.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna run around in like a full Spider-Man suit. I don't think Nicolas Cage would do.
He might. Dude. What won't Nicolas Cage do?
This is a good question. No,
I think Nicolas Cage will do whatever you tell him to do.
I don't think they'll do that. I think it'll be more like. I think this is gonna be basically like Gotham, but just with Spider-Man characters.
That's fine.
Where it'll mostly just be like detective cop stuff.
That sounds good.
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah, that sounds sick.
Also, I don't think Spider-Man Noir has webs. I'm pretty sure
he has a grappling hook thing.
Okay, he might have that, depending on how expensive that effect is.
Yeah.
There's also period pieces gonna be pretty expensive. But this is going to be premiering exclusively on MGM Plus.
Like black and white, video. The headlights of the old-timey cars, and he's like swinging off a bridge.
Gonna fight.
His coat goes.
Gonna fight old-timey Doc Ock or something.
He fights old-timey Doc Ock, and he has like a
Instead
Frankenstein
of 4 arms,
monster.
He's just gonna have like 4 guys who just.
He could be like a Frankenstein monster with like octopus like arms stitched to him, and he like actually has like octopus.
That would be weird. I'm sure there is.
But all of his villains.
I'm sure there is a noir Doc Ock already from the comic books.
Yeah, there probably is. I don't know what his deal is.
Oren Uziel will serve as writer and showrunner. Phil Lord, Chris Miller, Amy Pascal are executive producing. Phil Lord and Chris Miller apparently are in control of all of the Spider-Man universe stuff now. Or maybe they aren't because they're also still making Kraven the Hunter. So
they're okay. Well, assuming they're not making that, we're winning.
We're winning.
Yeah,
which apparently they moved to December because they thought it would have less competition.
See, I think we might be entering like a superhero renaissance in the very near future. I don't think we're in it right now, but I think we have potential to go into one. We have James Gunn heading DC. We have the new Superman movie coming out.
Which we're just assuming will be good.
It'll probably be good, unless James Gunn like gets a lobotomy between now and when the movie comes out. We have Phil Lord and Christopher Miller running all the Spider-Man stuff, which they seem to be pretty good at. So no problems there.
Good things, which is more than Sony did on their own.
Yes, and those 2 things were really good things. They seem to understand Spider-Man very well.
They don't understand how to treat their employees well, but they do understand the Spider-Man.
It's fine. Not really. Yeah,
Marvel maybe gonna get their crap together.
Once we get done with Kang stuff, maybe they'll stop.
Well, we are done with Kang stuff because we have to be.
Okay, once they finish multiverse stuff, maybe they'll like take their thumbs out of their butts and like start doing other things again.
Do you think? Are we even gonna still be doing multiverse stuff? Obviously, like Deadpool's gonna have to do that because that's already been made. But like
Secret Wars will be the conclusion to the multiverse.
Yeah, but also like what is Secret Wars even gonna be at this point?
It's gonna be Crisis on Infinite Earth. It's gonna be where they fuse.
Like who's the villain now?
Pick a guy. Really
but he's gotta be a multiverse guy. Otherwise, why is the multiverse stuff?
So pick a multiverse guy.
Who's a multiverse guy?
I don't know. There's an evil Doctor Strange out there. Make him the villain.
He's so boring. We've already had 2 evil Doctor Stranges before.
Well,
a third evil Doctor Strange? That's preposterous.
Have it be one of those ones.
just
one of the ones we already have.
I feel like people would throw a massive riot fit if the villain for the big Avengers movie is a character from a cartoon show.
Do the Beyonder. That's what it was before. Have they done
the Beyonder before?
They did in the original Secret Wars.
Yeah, I guess you could do the Beyond.
And he was just as out of nowhere. He literally just
say he's a Kang variant.
Yeah, he literally just popped up out of nowhere, was like, buy action figures, and then he disappeared.
That's true. Well, they can't use the villain that they've been setting up at this point, so.
Okay, but they've barely even set him up. What is the threat of Kang?
He was going to have a big fight with all the other Kangs.
Okay, so what?
They were going to do a big
explosion. So all the Kangs die? So it seems like a problem that solves itself.
No, weren't they teaming up?
To do what?
I don't know. Do a big time war?
Yeah, we have
zero. What do the Kangs
we
do?
Have zero frame of reference.
I'm sure they were gonna explain it in like an upcoming movie that they now won't make.
Like, okay, compare the amount of screen time Thanos had to the amount of screen time Kang has had in the buildup of their arcs.
Like 2 minutes.
Thanos had like no screen time, yeah. So like he was a complete like phantom in the dark. We had no idea what we were signing up for. And when he showed up and we revealed what he was doing this whole time, we were like, oh, that's so cool. That's a cool thing he's doing. And then with Kang, we know so much about him, but we have no idea what his overarching goals are.
To do a big time multiverse war fight, punch laser gun.
He's gonna
what was his evil plan?
Conqueror.
Yeah, that was the
okay.
Big, I forgot. In Ant-Man 3, they were like, "Don't let him get out of the quantum realm, or he'll conquer."
That is unfortunately.
That is literally
basically
that was basically the dialogue. He'll get out and he'll do a bad thing.
He'll do conquering. Again, dude. Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Remember when he got beat by ants?
Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes might just be peak Marvel.
If we're bringing X-Men, if we're doing X-Men 97, can we bring Avengers: Earth's Mightiest
Heroes? Can we finish the show?
I know everyone wants the Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s.
Screw the Spider-Man show.
I don't care about that.
That show was like barely
watchable.
Like
mid at best. X-Men 90, the original X-Men cartoon show was not very good either.
But his writing was really good. It just looked
the
really
animation was bad. Like, if we're bringing back old stuff that was like peak, Avengers: Earth's Mightiest
Heroes had banging animation, banging writing. I think probably the best, most comic.
The writing wasn't banging.
It was pretty good. It wasn't great, but it was.
No, Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes was really good.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. It's in every the best Thor, the best Vision, the best Captain America, best Iron Man, the best Thor, the best Hulk.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp are actually interesting characters. And they gave them like
character arcs and stuff.
The Kree and the Skrull, they did
Heroes for Hire. Spider-Man showed up in like 2 episodes.
Everything was perfect.
Yep, they even did AIM.
Except for the ending. The ending was...
But that was because
That's because they canceled the show.
Because they canceled the show. Bring Earth's Mightiest Heroes back.
Do it! Disney, you have infinite money and everything you do sucks. Do a good thing.
Do a good...
I
mean, X-Men 97 was a good.
Put it in the same universe.
Do a second good.
Do it in the same universe.
Well, no, because that exists in the same universe as the 90s cartoon.
Do it in the same universe.
Or just, it doesn't have to be.
Just say it's in the same universe.
Or what?
There's no X-Men characters in Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Just do it.
Yeah, there is. Wolverine shows up.
Okay, so say Wolverine went on like a side quest and
no, but like
some point in time.
Just do the show again. Like just
do it. It was awesome.
Stopping you.
There's nothing stopping you.
Just do it.
Do it.
I don't know why they canceled it in the first place. Because they canceled it and then they immediately followed up with that.
I think it's because the toy sales were not very good.
But then they followed up with that bad one, and that one was bad.
I think they wanted to have the series be in line with the movies, and so
they did because Assemble would just because Avengers Assemble, which was the
follow-up show.
That was they would just like do a crappy.
They would just do worse versions of whatever the MCU current movie was.
That year, like they were just like, oh, now we got to do a Winter Soldier thing. Okay.
Now I will give them credit for one thing.
Ultron's here.
I'll give them credit for one thing. They were the first ones that I am aware of where they did like Ultron gets the Infinity Stones.
Hey, but that's like...
But then they did it better in What If anyway, so like it didn't really matter.
Yeah, cancel What If.
Yeah, why are we doing that?
Cancel What If. Put all the What If money into the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Or just make What If good. It's so easy to make it good, and I don't know. Embarrassingly
Who's
mid.
approving the episode concepts for that show? They're so unnecessarily like dumb and convoluted.
There are 2 interesting episodes. What if
Doctor
Strange lost his heart?
Yep.
And the Hello one from the most recent season.
That one was okay.
I think that one is cool.
I don't remember like anything from the last season because I watched.
I think that one's cool just because
because I had to.
It did what I wanted them to do with that show, where you take a movie and it's like an alternate twist on it. Yeah. So all of the stuff that existed in the Hela episode, we know exists in the MCU. They didn't add any new stuff or do anything random that I don't care about.
No, the stuff that I don't understand that they do in that show is like the Happy Hogan does a Christmas special. And I'm like, nothing about this is even what if. You could just put this in the MCU.
You could just say this is in the MCU.
And it would change nothing. Yeah. Like, what even is this? Or like,
same with the Kaori stuff. You could just say that that's in the MCU and it wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah, what was that? That's not a what if on anything. That's just an original
what
episode
if I want to make a new show? Yeah. What if that?
It was just that. Like, I don't even...
okay, make a new show then. What? And then the most embarrassing part about that is they're like, this is our first Native American superhero. And it's like, but you just did Echo just like yesterday. So
Echo was in a show like 3 years ago, dude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like when the show, I mean, when season 2 of What If came out.
Yeah.
But you're like, it's our first Native American heroes. I'm like, no, you
did Echo before.
Do you have short-term memory loss? You did. This show was airing concurrently.
It's like every time Disney makes a new movie and they're like, this is our first gay Disney character.
Yeah. How many first gay Disney characters are there? Like 5 or 6? Yeah. LeFou is the first gay Disney character.
The first one, Sam.
That one character in Onward is the first gay Disney character.
Remember those 2 girls that kiss at the background of that one shot?
Is Bo Peep bisexual? Does she count too? Who else can we make the first gay Disney character?
Toy Story 5 writer's room. Can we make Bo... What do we do? Was Bo Peep bisexual?
Okay, you know what the problem with that joke is? It's one of those jokes that we make and then it becomes true in like a year.
I mean, Toy Story 5 just come out in 2026.
Yeah, that's gonna be true. She's gonna have like a girlfriend, and then the movie's gonna be about how Woody and Bo Peep break up. Tom Hanks is gonna
die, and they're gonna have to.
Woody will never die because you got to sell more Woodies. That's the only reason they make those movies.
Toy Story 5 is gonna come out 21 years after the first.
Yeah, but as long as there are 6-year-olds existing, people will always watch those movies.
Like, what are we doing? Like, why are we here?
Make a new thing.
Why are we doing more Toy Story? Other than money.
Make a new thing.
I know it's only because of money, but like, bro, what is left to do with those guys? We're at the point... No, you remember how in Toy Story 3, the premise was it's been so long since the first movie
that Andy grew up
now? We're at the point where it's been so long since Toy Story 3, Bonnie is also an adult now.
Yeah.
It's been 14 years since Toy Story 3.
Wait a minute. What if Toy Story becomes like Doctor Who? It just exists forever.
Every 3 movies,
and they just pass on to new kids
because they gave up having it be in real time because they did Toy Story 4 and Bonnie was like still like 3 years old or whatever. So they just stopped trying to keep up with it, even though the movie came out 9 years after
Bonnie wasn't
Toy
a
Story
character
3.
in that. Like Andy was a character.
Yeah.
Bonnie not a character.
Bonnie was like an idea of like another kid coming along.
Yeah, Bonnie just exists to give the toys a reason to be in the same room.
And then they had to like have her be a character in Toy Story 4 because they did a 4th one for some reason.
Yeah, well, she wasn't even really a character in that movie either.
And they're going to have to come up with a ham-fisted way for why Buzz and Woody are reunited in Toy Story 5.
Did they... Oh, yeah, Woody stayed in wherever he was.
Yeah, I didn't ever watch all of Toy Story 4.
He just, like, stayed in that, like, park or something? I don't know what he did.
And then I got bored and turned it off.
Are there other toys that just, like, live in, like, Rogue and they just, like...
Isn't part of the lore that, like, if they're not, like, played with by children, they, like, die?
No, because that
or did I make that up in my head?
No, because in the antique shop, all the toys are still alive.
Yeah, I guess.
They can only die if they're incinerated, I guess.
And then they're
which I think is more horrifying than if they don't. If the kid stops playing with them.
Freaks go to the depths of Tartarus. Where they belong.
All right. What's
do next? Do toys go to heaven in the Toy Story universe?
Unclear.
What happens when a toy dies?
Why are the toys even alive at all? And it's probably
what makes them alive because they're made in factories.
And all the force.
Because like, wasn't Woody made by like a guy?
Yeah.
Does he remember being made?
Yeah.
When does Woody's memories like start? Was it when he was bought by Andy? Because that's when like Buzz's start.
No,
because Buzz was just on that shelf, and then when they open him up,
but all the other Buzzes,
sentience.
All the other Buzzes were alive.
But they only like their memories are like the lore of like their fictional universe. Like,
yeah, so
Buzz thought he was Buzz Lightyear, like the Space Ranger.
Yeah, so I assume Woody initially just thought he was actually
he was Woody. And then why did he not know about the
That's
TV
also
show?
Horrifying.
What?
Like, what if one day you woke up and you were like a plastic action figure,
and you're like your entire life,
and you're like you're a podcast action figure, and you're like what?
Your job is to sit in this chair.
You'd be so immediately inconsolably confused.
But like, if Buzz knew about the Buzz Lightyear stuff, but Woody, like, he didn't know about like Woody's Roundup or any of that until
Yeah, because he learns about it.
So what does Woody know?
Maybe the show was made after the toy. Maybe the toy predated the show. Because Buzz Lightyear was made for the show.
Yeah. But then also, like, how does that even, like, is there, like, information planted in their brains? Like, how do they even know about that in general?
The Force.
Force. I forgot about the space magic.
There's space magic.
Oh, that's a peek into the any Star Wars movie or show writer's room. How do we get out of this?
The Force.
The space magic. You're right. The nondescript space magic that we can use to write ourselves out of any situation.
Does things. It does what we need it to do.
Anyway. Oh, by the way, back to the Sony stuff. That Silk series, Silk Spider Society.
Yeah, canceled.
Killed, gone, dead, never coming out.
Man, that sucks.
No
Except
one
not
that.
Really.
Good. Who even likes Silk? Silk's not even a
that
character.
One guy who wrote her just because he had like an Asian fetish.
Was it Brian Michael Bendis?
I think so. He just was like, what if Spider-Man, there was a lady and she had to have sex with Spider-Man and I'm Spider-Man.
Well, she got like a bunch of solo comics.
Yeah, because she had like, her character design is really good.
I like her costume.
Her costume's great, and that's the only reason why her character lasted longer than
Dan Slott's like a veteran comic writer. He's done good stuff.
Yeah, and he was like, you know what? I've written too many cool things. This one's for me. I want to write a comic book about my imaginary girlfriend who has to have sex with Spider-Man.
They've done 5 different Silk series, like in comics.
Yeah, because her character design is cool. If your character design is cool, you'll get a bunch of comics.
She's been around, but like, what does she do?
So she has all the same powers as Spider-Man, but her webs are a little bit different.
Right.
And in the larger context of the Spider-Verse, she is the mother, which I'm not going to explain, but Peter Parker is the father, and that's why they have to have sex.
Cool. You think that was going to be in the show?
No.
The mother thing probably was.
The mother thing, yes, but not the father thing.
Because also Peter Parker wasn't going to be in it. Did you see that like leak? There was a rumor going around on Twitter that like Venom 3, there's going to be like a 9 or 10-year-old Peter Parker in it.
I think that's just true.
I mean, it tracks. We got newborn baby Peter Parker in Madam Web.
I guess they're in the
same
universe.
Now I guess we're going to get 10-year-old Peter Parker in Venom 3.
Does that mean...
But also, didn't Venom 1 and 2 take place in like the modern day?
Remember when he goes and he meets or sees Spider-Man on TV? Remember when that happened?
But that was in the MCU.
And then he gets
that is canonically a
existence?
different universe than the one he's in. So who's the Spider-Man in his universe?
Or is he just going to be really confused?
Or I guess there isn't a Spider-Man yet, because I guess Spider-Man is 10 years old.
Yeah, there's no Spider-Man in the Venom universe.
Also, the Madam Web movie took place in like 2002 or whatever. So if that's the same universe as the Venom universe, he should be like 26.
He should be well versed in spider people.
This doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
Where does Kraven fit into all this?
Who knows?
Where does Morbius fit into all this?
Who's getting laid off?
14% of Pixar's staff.
Oh, that's a lot.
175 employees.
That is a lot of people.
Yep.
Why?
They're saying that the financial failures of Soul, Luca turning red, Lightyear, Onward, Elemental was kind of a disappointment.
What? Elemental made $1 billion.
Elemental made slightly more than it was supposed to, and it was supposed to not make money. So
yeah, but it made a lot of money.
During COVID, we trained audiences to watch our movies on Disney Plus. I won't say there was a lot of choice.
Yeah, that was not your
Pixar
fault.
Executive, for periods of time, it was the only thing we could do. We have a little work to unring that bell and motivate families to go to the theaters and not wait a few months to see it on Disney Plus.
Yeah, given the fact that their only post-COVID movie was Lightyear and Elemental, they didn't exactly get the ball rolling with a strong start.
Well, Lightyear probably could have been something if it wasn't stupid in concept and poorly explained and marketed, and also really sad and
like I said, just not good.
Remember when we saw that movie like opening weekend and there was like 2 other people in the theater?
Wasn't very.
Did that come out last year?
No, that was 2 years.
The year before?
Yeah, 2022.
Remember when he was like, "Oh, I'm sad because all my friends are dead." What a fun kid's adventure.
Remember when Zurg is Buzz and not his father, even though that's one of the only two pieces of Buzz
Lightyear
lore that
it would have
existed.
been the easiest. Why was that so hard for them? It would have been you just make a crappy Star Wars movie.
There are only 2 pieces of Buzz Lightyear lore. He's a space ranger and Zurg's his dad. That's it.
And they only did one.
And they did not even. He doesn't even talk to Star Command.
No, he doesn't.
There is no Star Command.
No, he's trapped on that planet in a time loop or whatever, or in a time bubble, time something.
Time
dilation. There's a time thing where everyone else is old and dying, and he's
trying to get them off, but then they decide, screw it, we'll stay here.
Yeah.
So that was pointless, I guess.
Exhibitors believe the studio's upcoming sequel, Inside Out 2, on June 14th, will recapture some of the studio's earlier luster.
It will. That will make a lot of money.
Includes Elio in 2025 and Toy Story 5 in 2026.
Elio will make no money, and it will basically functionally not exist. And
I think Elio will do slightly better than like a Luca or Turning Red did. Oh wait, no, those didn't even release. Yeah, I think it'll maybe do a good, like a really good situation, do as well as Elemental.
Yeah,
which would be like $500 million. Would be like less than does on like.
What happened to Pixar?
They put all those movies out on Disney Plus.
They're making movies that are good, easy to make into toys.
They've been making good stuff mostly recently. I mean,
Turning Red was fine.
Elemental was fine. Turning Red was pretty good. Luca was good.
Luca was. I like really Luca good. The best of. No, I like Soul the best of the recent ones.
Soul was really good. What was their? That was Luca. I mean, but Lightyear was bad.
Lightyear was really bad.
Yeah, but then like Toy Story 4, I didn't watch it, but everyone says that one's like good, I guess.
Toy Story 4 was very fine.
What did they do the year before? They do like one movie a year. I don't remember. Oh, Incredibles 2, mid.
Ugh, bad.
Cars 3, mid.
No, Cars 3 was good.
Cars 3 is okay. They did 2 movies that year, I think. They did something else.
Was it Good Dinosaur?
Oh, Coco.
Coco's really good.
Coco's good. I don't know.
Coco was probably their last really big banger.
Oh, like you mean like quality wise?
No, I mean like audience wise.
Oh no, that was. Toy Story 4 made $1 billion.
Okay, Toy Story doesn't count. It's its own thing.
Incredibles 2 made $1 billion.
Old things don't count. I mean,
like
new,
a new
things.
Thing?
Yeah, like not a previous
last
thing.
like big hit for that was a new thing was Coco.
That's a long time.
That was 6
years ago.
That was 7 years ago.
2018, I thought.
2017.
Long time ago.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's because all the new stuff they've just been putting on streaming. Like,
yeah,
they could have put Turning Red in theaters and they could have put Luca in theaters, and
they just didn't. I mean, COVID was happening, but they still could have.
No, but like Turning Red was like early 2022. They could have put that one out.
Yeah, that just was kind of
Luca. They could have put out if they waited a few more months, and then like Soul was obviously a big COVID thing. That was like 2020,
and that was probably their best one.
That was the best.
But that one, honestly,
I don't think that one would have done.
I don't think that one would have done very well.
Not a great kids movie.
It wasn't for kids. It really wasn't.
It was really for like adults, sad, depressed adults on Christmas Day.
Yeah,
which is when it came out. Anyway, yeah, not cool. People losing their jobs is not cool.
Especially when it's like
Sam,
not their fault.
If it makes you feel better, it's not going to affect any of the executives.
Well, thank God. Are they going to get their raises at the end of the year?
Of course they're going to get their raises. Sam, come on.
Dude,
buddy.
I was sweating for a second.
They're going to still get their... If they don't get their raises, then we're really
Dude,
screwed.
I was worried David was going to lose his... Or Bob was going to lose his summer house.
Bro, don't worry about it. Bob will still have his 8th summer house. He might have to sell the 7th lake house.
Oh,
if things get really down,
if times get real tough.
If things get real tough, 7th lake house might have to go, but 8 summer homes, he's fine. Okay, he'll still only work his contractually obligated 25 hours a year. Okay, he'll still get paid his $150 million. Everything will be fine.
For my entire life, it has been too expensive for our family to ever go to Disneyland.
But Bob,
that's just something we didn't get to do because it was just too expensive the whole time.
Yep.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
All right. Anyway,
Bob, give us some of your money.
Bob, stop.
Bob, I will. Bob, you know what? I will happily shill for your corporation
if you just stop.
If you
being
pay
so
for
mean.
one vacation to Disneyland.
If you pay for us to go to Disneyland, we will We will ride every Disney movie so hard.
So hard. You could put out Lightyear too. I'd be like, guys,
this is the best movie
I've ever seen.
We will become soups.
I will tweet about it. I will harass my friends in real life. I'm being dead serious. If you pay for my trip to Disneyland, I will become a soulless corporate.
We will become soups if you just pay for us to go to Disneyland one time.
Not even for that long. I'll take
like 3 days.
Like 4 days.
4 days.
4 days to Disneyland, and I don't want to pay. And now part of this is like I don't want to pay for like food,
plane and everything too.
I want plane. I want hotel. And I want you to pay for my giant like mutated chicken leg.
Got to pay for my lightsaber.
And my lightsaber. I want my lightsaber.
Even though I have a better one anyway.
But I want one from the place. Okay, and I want my little Coke can that's shaped like a ball.
That has Star Wars text on it for some reason. Even though that doesn't make any sense at all.
I want to go to Tomorrowland.
That's still even a thing?
I'm pretty sure.
I think they closed it down.
That I want to go to whatever's where Tomorrowland
I want to go to Avatar Land, and that's, I think, the only thing at Disney now. So those two places,
the Marvel place, they have a Marvel
The Spider-Man one with the swinging robot.
Where he's contractually in a different outfit than his MCU outfit because they don't own the rights to that.
Yeah.
I want to go to the Haunted Mansion.
Did they remodel
and the Jungle Cruise.
Did they remodel any of those?
Nope, those ones stay
just
the same.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I want to go to Pirates of the Caribbean. I want to go.
Where are the new rides?
Oh, they put out new rides, but the new rides are always like branded stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where are the new Disney rides?
Oh, they don't do that anymore.
Well, what are they going to make into movies in 10 years?
No, Sam, they make movies so that they can make the movies into theme park rides. It used to be we made theme park rides so we can make the theme park rides into movies, but now we're making the movies into theme park rides.
Why don't you just do both?
Because that would be walking and chewing gum at the same time, and we're not capable of that.
I think everyone's capable of that.
I can't do it.
That seems like more of a problem.
Sam, why do you think I have to sit in this chair to talk? I can't talk and stand at the same time.
Maybe you should invest in a wheelchair then.
It requires all 2 of my brain cells to be in use for that time.
Disney executives can't think that hard. That's too much
I'm pretty
stunking.
sure they're still working on more theme park ride garbage for movies.
When?
Well, that Haunted
When's
Mansion.
The last time you heard
that Haunted Mansion movie they did was like a giant failure. Like it lost like hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, but when's the last time you heard about them making a new original Disney ride? I don't.
Oh, it's been decades. I don't think they've done one.
I don't think in our lifetime
time
they have made one.
No, because like all the new stuff is like Guardians of the Galaxy ride.
Yeah. Star Wars
ride. Avatar ride. Like they don't make like fun new ride. Also,
Princess and the Frog.
We're also not like a big theme park. Maybe if we asked like one of the big theme park nerds that exists, like one of the people who goes to Disneyland every year or like several times a year.
I don't think they've built a big ride that's like its own thing in our lifetime.
I just want to be clear. Our policy of pay for our Disneyland vacation becomes shills. Universal, I just want to tell you.
That does not apply to you.
No, if you pay for us to go to Nintendo Land.
Nintendo Land, yeah. Only if it's the Japan one, though.
Only if it's the Japan one.
Because I'm going to go to other places while I'm there.
And we'll only shill for like some stuff. If it's like
we'll shill for all your Mario stuff.
100% that. And like maybe like the Jurassic World stuff. I'm not shilling for Minions unless the vacation's like really nice.
Yeah.
I want like a really like
if you really pimp us out.
If you really like first class flight, hotel suite.
If you go all out, you know.
3-week stay, I'll be like, all right. Maybe I'll shill
all
for
right,
Minions.
we'll ride for Minions, fine. But you got to really sweeten the pot.
It's got to be really nice. By the way, you only have to do this once. It's one vacation.
It's a one-time deal.
It's not even like a yearly thing where we went there every year. One vacation, I'm a shill for life.
We'll put the contract where this Ghostbusters poster is.
It'll say, in exchange for vacation, you own our souls.
Well, you own our opinions on your movies.
Yeah. It's fine. I'm down with that.
I'm fine with, souls, no. But like, I will shill for your movie, sure.
Yeah. You want to talk more Marvel news?
Yeah, let's get the rest of that Marvel news out of the way.
Marvel Studios has hired Hunger Games: Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes writer Michael Leslie to begin scripting their X-Men movie.
People like that one.
Sam, he's also written Assassin's Creed, the movie.
No one saw that, so I don't know if that was good or bad.
And he wrote Assassin's Creed.
Oh.
That was bad.
Okay.
Everyone hated that
one. But people like Songbirds and Snakes, though.
True. He also wrote a Macbeth movie. Or co-wrote it with 2 other people.
Well, co-wrote it with Shakespeare? What do you mean?
No. He has not. He has never written a movie on his own.
Okay. Maybe he's good and he's getting swamped by the other guys.
Maybe we can blame the other 2 Assassin's Creed writers for Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Maybe he was the only one who had good ideas.
Maybe he was. If there was any good ideas in that movie,
I have no idea. I haven't seen it.
Yes, and I never will because I don't care.
Forgot it existed till today.
No, everyone forgot about that one. They took an entire year off from Assassin's Creed games to make that movie.
Okay, well, that's like a year.
And I'm pretty sure it had a positive impact in the long term because they took 2 years instead of 1 year on the next game, and everyone's like, "Oh, this one's actually pretty good."
What year was that?
That was Origins. Remember Origins? Assassin's Creed Origins was like the Egyptian one.
Yeah.
That was like the year before that one came out, and they like took a break that year.
Did people like Origins?
People like that one. I don't think they liked the follow-ups because then they did the
Then there
Roman
was
one.
Odyssey.
Yes, and then there was
Valhalla.
Is Valhalla the last one?
People liked Odyssey, though.
No, there's a new one coming out this year, right?
Yeah. Oh, we should talk about that.
I don't care.
You didn't? Do you know all the stuff?
No.
Okay.
I just know that it's happening.
So do you know who Yusuke is?
Nope.
So in Japanese history, there was one black samurai.
Oh, there's one black samurai. I did see this. People were complaining.
Yeah, and people were complaining because they're like, "What? You can't be black and a samurai. What?" And people lost their minds. That's basically it. I just think it's funny because Shogun came out at the same time, and it was literally the exact same thing, but like it was a white dude doing the exact same thing that.
Well, yeah, you can be white.
Yusuke did, and everyone was like, "This is the best show ever made."
Sam, a black guy can't be a samurai, but a white guy can.
Well, he could be Hatamoto or whatever he was. I never
finished.
Remember?
I watched first.
You should. It's really good.
I know it is good. I just didn't. I think I got so phase 3.
I'm surprised it took 20 years for Assassin's Creed to make a ninja game.
I guess.
Why did it take them so long?
They were saving it up.
Name one other historical famous group of assassins.
It is weird that they did Sparta.
Didn't have assassins there.
Egypt.
Okay, they did have
Vikings.
Vikings were not. They were the opposite of assassins.
Revolutionary War.
Okay, but that was like the first.
Pirates. All before.
But everyone likes the pirate one, so it's fine.
Ninjas.
Yeah, I would have assumed logically there would have been the first game. It did really well, and then they're like, "All right, ninjas. Immediately next game." No, let's do everything else, and then we'll do ninjas.
When are they gonna go to space?
They've been to space already?
No. Space.
Well, it's always in the past, so I don't think they can.
You could go to the future.
I mean,
they're running out of things, though. What do they do?
Because he's going and he's seeing the memories of his ancestors.
Well, you could just set it really, really
you can't
far.
Send his brain into the future.
You could send it far. Who cares? Is it still like the same guy?
Yeah.
Just been sitting.
He's just related to every famous historical figure, or at least a guy who was around then, which I guess is actually how
they were all
lineages
assassins.
work. We have ancestors that were alive during literally every point in history.
Yes,
up
everyone
until now.
has ancestors that were alive during every.
So,
point in history,
I guess
otherwise
that could have happened.
Not be alive.
Yeah.
Anyway, Marvel Studios is officially moving forward with a Vision series. More X-Men stuff. Do you think they will follow? Like, who do you think is going to be on the X-Men team? Who do you think they're doing? Because my guess is they're going to basically just do the X-Men 97 lineup. I think that's their plan right now. I think that's a solid lineup for like the team.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Those are obviously the most popular version right now.
So Cyclops, Jean Grey, Wolverine is obviously going to be on the team no matter what.
Yeah.
Storm, Jubilee.
You think it's Hugh Jackman Wolverine?
No.
You think they're going to recast Wolverine?
I think he'll be around until Secret Wars, and then because I don't think this will come out until like after Secret
obviously,
Wars.
Yeah.
I think that's when they'll recast everyone. I think the X-Men that are going to show up in the next couple of years are all going to be the Fox guys. Where it's like we've seen Kelsey Grammer Beast was in the Marvels.
The last ride of the Fox X-Men.
Yeah, we're gonna have Halle Berry is gonna be Storm. We're gonna have James Marsden come back as Cyclops. We'll just do all that, and then they'll recast everyone. Because Hugh Jackman's gonna be like 60 at that point. He is not doing Wolverine again. That's just not going to happen. Like you gotta find another guy.
Yeah.
Although Ryan Reynolds will still be Deadpool. He's allowed to quit.
No, he has to be Deadpool.
Yeah, I think what they'll end up doing with Deadpool is he'll just stop being in the suit and
I think he'll just be like a TVA guy. And he'll just run around and do goofy silly
I do
things.
think they're going to stop doing Deadpool movies because I don't think there's really anything left for him to do. Really?
Okay, but I mean, they've been making Deadpool comics forever, Nick.
But they're always just like him goofing around. Like there's not like
yeah, just do that in movie form.
But like Deadpool's like his whole like supporting cast and stuff. Like there's nothing like anywhere left for them to go with him. Like I think he'll just be a guy who runs around. And also, does Ryan Reynolds want to do like another Deadpool movie? Because Ryan Reynolds is also not young. Ryan Reynolds is also in like his mid-50s.
Yeah, but he doesn't actually have to do any of the action scene.
Because he's just
make a CGI puppet.
Hugh Jackman actually has to run around because they refuse to put that mask on him, even though it would make his life a lot easier.
I think he will have the mask on it.
In Wolverine and Deadpool?
Yeah.
100% for like at least like one scene.
Probably
I think he's gonna wear it one time.
I think they'll build up to it.
I think Deadpool will like put it on him as a joke and be like, look, we did the mask thing, and then he's gonna rip it off.
And Deadpool's gonna say it. He's gonna be like, look, remember you wanted like, this?
Remember this? Remember when he
almost did this and then he didn't, but now we're doing it.
Now we're doing it, and then he's gonna take it off because
yeah.
Although I think it's probably gonna be guy. Won't be a real mask. They'll see my mask on.
Well, yeah, that's what they do now.
Because why make real costume
when fake costume do trick?
You can make a man miss childbirth for computer animation. Anyway, yeah, I think they'll do like
because we don't have to pay
because we don't have to pay
computer animator union rates.
Cool. No, I think it'll be like the X-Men '97 lineup, like plus or minus one or two guys. It'll probably be like less people than that because that show's got a really big cast. Gambit, maybe not. Stuff like that.
Gambit was in
Sunspot, maybe bigger role. We can get a Latino guy on the team. Because we got to make sure we get everyone for the demographics.
What? Nightcrawler's like an Indian, right?
He's blue.
Yes, but like before he was blue.
What is?
I think he's Indian. Because I think that's why he doesn't eat meat.
He like Catholic?
Yeah, he is Catholic. Wait, so why doesn't he eat meat?
Is that a thing? Are you sure that's a thing?
Or he's a pacifist, but I thought he also didn't eat meat.
Pacifist who runs around with swords and kicks people.
Okay, but those were robots. Those weren't. No.
Beats normal people up too a lot.
Oh, but you can beat people up as long as you don't.
I don't think he'll be on the team. I don't think they'll do Nightcrawler.
Why? Nightcrawler's cool.
But there's also you have time to like add guys because they're gonna do more than one movie.
Yeah, I don't want them to make an X-Men movie right off the bat.
Well, they're doing it.
Yeah, I know, but I want them to do what they did with Avengers.
He's German.
Yeah, but he's Catholic, right?
He's Bavarian. Bavaria.
What is that? Bolivia?
It's just...
Okay. Well, and what was I... I want them to do like what they did with Avengers.
Where it's like they each get their own movies first. I don't think that works, though.
Okay. Hang on. Every time we've done a universe and they didn't do it that way, it ended horribly.
The difference is that like Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Captain America, they all had like their own in the comics, like their own books before they were the Avengers.
Yeah.
The Justice League, like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Flash, like they all had their own books before that. The X-Men, they all first appeared in X-Men. Like they were all
not those X-Men.
Not some of them. Well, no.
None of them.
Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast.
Just Cyclops and Jean Grey. Beast was a different guy. Well, he was the same guy, but he was a totally different character.
But they all first appeared in X-Men Storm. They all appeared not in the same X-Men comic, but they all appeared in the team book. Like they never each had their own solo series. They might have had one later on, but that was never like they never had like a long running.
They didn't have an identity outside
to where
of the
like
team.
When you make a movie, you could pull off of that for material. Like all of their,
but they have that now.
Maybe.
What members of the team don't have their own books?
Who's going to see the Cyclops solo movie? Does anyone want that?
Who wants the Thor solo movie?
Okay, but Thor has like his own characters and his own world and his own villains and like characteristics to play off of. Like Cyclops' whole reality is built around the X-Men. Like
maybe don't do but like Wolverine totally could.
But you've also done.
You could do that with Gambit.
You could do it with Wolverine.
You could do that with Storm.
You could also have done 3 Wolverine.
Basically, if you pick any guy that isn't Cyclops, you could do that.
They've already done solo Wolverine movies. You want to do more solo Wolverine movies
with a new guy? Yeah.
Why?
Who's this guy? It's a different guy.
He does all the same things.
But it's a different guy.
He runs around and he stabs people and he drinks. That's kind of that's all he does.
Yes, but he's a different face now.
Oh, so we need 2 movies before we put him on the team with the other guys. Yeah, no, that seems pointless.
Okay, but like I think
that would be like giving the Fantastic Four solo movies before you bring them together. Like their whole dynamic is as a unit.
But I would argue that X-Men have more individuality to them than the Fantastic Four.
They're more individual than the Fantastic Four are, but like all their characteristics are still built to work as like a team unit. Like all those characters are written that way, where like they're designed to play off each other, and if you kind of just put them in their own space, they don't work as well.
Yeah.
Like if you just make Jean Grey run around and there's no like students or school or Cyclops to do, like what is Jean Grey supposed to do by herself?
Up with things.
But I don't want them to like put themselves in a situation where they like sit in a room and be like, we need to come up with a thing to do for this. Like just do the X-Men stuff.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. They made 2 Iron Man movies before they made
But
Avengers.
there's like Iron Man had like a whole decades-long run of stuff, of comics, of characters, of villains,
but
of
Jean Grey
story arcs, of all of that.
Jean Grey has plenty of stuff too.
But all of her stuff is built around the X-Men. Like the whole Phoenix storyline is built around the X-Men.
The resolution of all those things happened when she's with the X-Men. But a lot of the build-up is happening when she was like a kid and when she's like a teen and before she's on the team.
But she also didn't do anything interesting during that time.
Yes, so you'd have to change it to make her a little bit more proactive in her own backstory, but that's not hard to do. You can do that well without
all the X-Men's backstories are like
they are very similar.
They were a normal kid, and then their power showed up one day and it did a big accident, and then their parents called Charles Xavier, and Charles Xavier showed up and took them to their school, and then they joined the X-Men.
Yeah, so you can make like 6 of the same movie, no problem.
I'm pretty sure this was the problem. Remember when they were gonna do the X-Men Origins movies?
Yeah, but they only did Wolverine. They stopped at 1.
Because the Wolverine, but that was because Wolverine was like such a train wreck. But like that was a problem they ran into in development. Was like they were gonna do Wolverine and then they were gonna do Magneto, and they were like, okay, what do we do after that? Because there's not really anything interesting else to do. Like it's like 2 guys.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're gonna do Professor X and Magneto though. I'm interested to see how they work around that.
Yeah, because it's kind of you can't really
do
World
War II anymore. It's been too long.
You could make him Vietnamese. And that's kind of too old.
60s?
Make Magneto.
He would be in.
When did Desert Storm happen? Make him. I don't know if the mainstream audience would be ready for that.
I don't think the world's ready for that.
Yeah.
I don't think the world's ready for that.
I think you could make that, but I don't think the world's ready
for that. Maybe like the cold. Maybe like communist Russia. I don't know.
You could make him. Oh, you could make him Armenian.
Yeah, no, because that's also.
I was during.
A victim of the Armenian genocide.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no one's gonna get mad about it because no one even knows what that is.
No, because some say it didn't happen.
A lot say it didn't.
A lot say it didn't happen. Anyway, but I don't know how they're gonna work their way around that because that would have
make it so he lives long.
If he was like 10 in 1938 or 39.
They could just make it so like because of his magnesis powers, his like the iron in his blood keeps him alive for longer. I don't know.
Yeah, you could do.
Just come up with some BS excuse for like they did with Captain America. Like, oh, he just doesn't die.
Charles Xavier, but you have to do the same thing with Charles.
You could make it so Okay, do with Magneto what they did with Wolverine, where you just make it so he like just doesn't age for some reason, and then
but Wolverine is because he heals. So...
Yeah, but we can come up with a stupid fake made up science.
Yeah, we can just be like, Magneto his magnetic field distorts his aging.
Yeah, something like that. And then we just have it where he meets Professor Xavier later on in his life, but around the same time, I guess, looks-wise and age as Professor X.
Yeah, because Xavier's like 60-something, 70-something.
And you can have it make it so like, his
like the 50s,
his magnetic field gets weaker over time, and so he starts to age more realistically.
Realistically. That's a good idea. That's a good workaround. Yeah, no, I do think the most likely thing is to just be like, he ages slow from the metal or something.
Yeah, I honestly don't really know what to do with that. Like, X-Men 97 doesn't really have to deal with that because it takes place in 1997.
Well, and the comics don't have to deal with it because the comics, it's all one big continuity, so they just pretend like it's been
just lives a really long time.
Well, no, in the comics, like, there's never, like, the passage of time. The comics just happen one after each other, and time moves past in real life, but doesn't really affect the characters.
Yeah.
Because, like, Scott Summers still, like, 25 in the comics.
Even though it's been like 40 years.
It's been 60 years since the X-Men came out. Like,
yeah.
You should be 80. Anyway, back to the news story. Marvel Studios is officially moving forward with a Vision series starring Paul Bettany. He's coming back after WandaVision. He's gonna play Vision. Harry Matalis, who was the showrunner on the 3rd season of Star Trek Picard, which apparently, according to everyone, is great. He's going to serve as head writer and showrunner for the project, which is gearing up for production. It's going to release in 2026. Jack Schaefer, who was the showrunner for WandaVision and the Agatha show, was supposed to do this, but they, I guess, removed her from this and restarted. This is Marvel's first live-action series pickup in almost 2 years. After they changed direction, now targeting a release of 2 series and 3 movies per year, down from the gluttonous amount they were doing in the previous couple of years. And they've also split into several different divisions. So now there's Marvel Animation, Marvel Television, and Marvel Studios, instead of it all being Marvel Studios. And also there's the Marvel Spotlight label for the stuff that is being made by those, but is not important.
Different. It doesn't count.
And they announced that the Wonder Man TV show is going to be in the Marvel Spotlight label. So it's all very easy to keep.
Okay, no one's watching Wonder Man. We don't even have to pretend like that matters.
Bob Odenkirk's in that.
So?
How dare you?
And
that's Saul Goodman.
Name one of Wonder Man's powers.
I think he's got telekinesis or something.
You sound really confident.
I don't know anything about Wonder Man.
Exactly.
I mean, I didn't know.
Who's watching Wonder Man?
I had to watch the Echo TV show. I don't care about
But
Echo.
Echo was at least introduced in another thing. We were at least aware of who Echo was.
No one's watching the Agatha Harkness show either.
And what if it's really good?
It won't be.
Loki was really good.
But come on.
I cared as much about Loki going into it as I do about this show. I thought it was going to be nothing.
Okay, but at least I like the setup of Loki.
But I didn't even...
What if Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson were time cops? That's a good setup.
But we didn't even know that was the setup going in.
We knew that from the trailers.
But we didn't really know how it was
when they
gonna,
were they're doing a Loki show. We didn't know that, but when we learned some information about it, yeah. We have some information about the Agatha show, and I don't care.
What is happening in the Agatha show?
Yeah, she's got to team up with some witches to go fight some other witches, get revenge. Because remember, she was betrayed by her coven or whatever.
Yeah, in the 1800s.
Yeah, well now she's got to go get revenge.
Doesn't she?
They're gonna go on the witches.
Well, I guess she can't really get revenge on Wanda because she kind of crushed herself with a building.
Wanda's son is gonna be in it. Wiccan's gonna be in it.
Isn't he not real?
But he's real now. Magic or something.
Okay.
It was Agatha all along.
Yeah, all right.
They greenlit this show based on the fact that trended that one time 3 years ago.
Did it even though? Did it really trend?
Yeah, remember? It was like a meme for a day.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah. It was just so long ago, it left such a little impact that you don't even remember.
Yeah, at all.
But that one thing caused them to greenlight this television show. They spent $200 million on this.
Yeah, I don't care about Agatha.
Who cares about Agatha at all?
Why were they still doing the title bit up until one day
everyone
before
knew. Everyone knew what they were doing. The fifth
time, yeah.
when they announced the show. Everyone knew that was what it was going to be, and
wasn't that the original title anyway?
No, well, when they announced it, they were Agatha, House of Harkness, and then it was Coven of Chaos, and then it was Witches United or something, and then they did it 2 more times after that, and then they were Agatha all along. Everyone was I like this song.
I like the song in the show.
Is that the only Marvel show coming out this year?
Yes. I think it's the only
cartoon one.
It's the only Disney big budget show.
Because I'm trying to think.
There's no Star Wars show either.
There's 4 of them. The Ironheart show.
Oh no, there's Acolyte. What am I saying?
That's a Star Wars.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to think of big budget
Skeleton Crew coming out
later this year.
What's up with Skeleton Crew?
No idea.
I'm pretty sure it's finished.
It is. It's been filmed.
Yeah, where's it at?
Show, right?
Yeah, and it's got have you seen the directors for that show?
No.
I think we've talked about this before. It's got
it's the most stacked cast of all time.
It's the most stacked directing crew you've ever seen on a television show, and they just don't even. There's one image of.
Is it just a massive disaster? What is going on?
Jude Law's in it, bro. Jude Law. Anyway,
actually, what's happening?
Filming. Phil Tippett worked on it. What the heck, bro? Why is this not out? Yeah, let's see. John Watts, Daniels, who did Everything Everywhere All at Once, David Lowery, who's done movies, Jake Schreier, who's doing Thunderbolts, Bryce Dallas Howard, Lee Isaac Chung, who did Minari and is doing Twisters. Like,
oh, Twisters, wow.
Well, like he like won Oscars for like Minari. Like, what the? Like, where's this show, bro? What happened to this show?
What's happening right now?
Well, when was it filming? Yeah, it was like finished in March of last year. Yeah, they were filming in 2022.
Yeah, no, it's been done as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, why are they just sitting on it?
Maybe they're just finishing VFX. Maybe that's.
I know they're probably waiting for The Acolyte to come out first, so that they're not out at the same time. But like, could have put this out earlier. There was nothing out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can you just delete the Agatha show and just put this out instead?
Do that.
I'm on board with that.
Can we just delete that?
Would literally
don't even replace it with anything.
Would a single person be upset if they just canceled the Agatha show?
I mean, who plays Agatha?
Catherine Hahn?
She'd be very sad.
I'm sure she'd be like, "Oh no, I don't get residual checks," but also like, they wouldn't be very high. No one's watching it.
Yeah, but a lot of people worked on it still.
Yeah.
They want to show their kids the cool thing they made.
But people worked on Minions too.
Yeah, but that made $1 billion.
People worked on If.
Or so we've been told.
Oh, we've been told. It might have been AI.
Probably.
It could have just been AI.
Alrighty, is there anything else?
Any other news?
Any other big stuff?
Oh, Adam Wingard left the next Godzilla Kong movie. Got a conflict.
Oh,
He's gonna do a small horror movie instead.
That sounds
or
reasonable.
Thundercats. He's been talking about doing Thundercats for years. Well, he finally
remember when they made that really good Thundercats show and then just like didn't ever make more of it.
Well, it got canceled after one season. The toy sales were low.
Yeah, but it was cool.
Bring that show back too.
It was awesome.
If we're reviving shows, can we just revive all the shows I like?
Yeah. When do we get to have all of our shows? I don't want to wait till I'm 40 to have all my fun shows revived.
No.
I want them to be revived right now.
We're supposed to get a good. They're supposed to like reveal that Gumball revival.
When?
In the next couple. Like, there's like an animation festival coming up.
Did they finish the movie?
There's no movie anymore. Movie got canceled.
What?
It's a show now. They're just doing it.
Okay, but is it at least like a follow-up?
I don't know. We'll find out. But it's still happening. It hasn't been canceled. So that's good.
Okay. I mean, I just want it to be the conclusion to what we had with Gumball.
I mean, they probably will now because they're just doing more show.
I guess.
Are they doing more Ben 10? What happened to Ben 10?
Ben 10 was cool.
I don't
know if I want more Ben 10 though. I think we got enough Ben 10.
What if we got like a really cool live action movie?
Okay. Have you seen the other
I've
ones?
seen the currently existing live action movies. That's why I said really cool one.
Who's gonna make that though?
Warner Brothers do it. I mean, like what guy? What guy is gonna do it?
No, like would it go on to would it be straight to HBO Max? Would it release in theaters? Like what would that even be?
Just exploit my nostalgia. You've exploited everyone else's nostalgia.
Yeah. Exploit our nostalgia more.
Give me a Beyblade thing. Bring Beyblades back.
That'll get me still around.
No, but like bring back like old Beyblade stuff. Like who's the guy from Beyblade? Who was the old
Jenga?
Yeah, bring Jenga back.
He was in
Jenga's here and
he was in Shotgun Steel.
Yeah, but he was old.
In like one episode. Well, he was like 19. He was like barely older than he was in the original show.
Do a revival and be like, look, Pegasus is back.
Also,
guys.
He was like a god by the end of the show. So like he literally was warping space and time with his Beyblade.
I mean, exploit my nostalgia for once, gosh darn it.
They could make a better Pokemon movie.
But also, like, all the things that came out when we were kids were the exploitations of people before us nostalgia.
I mean, well, sorta. I mean, we had Ben 10, we had Gumball, we had... What else do we have?
Like Transformers Prime was just like...
But that's just more nostalgia.
That was more Transformers stuff. Like, it was all just...
What did we have Shrek? We didn't even really like Shrek.
Bro, when are we getting Shrek 5, though, for real? What is happening? Why does it take us so long?
I don't remember when they teased it in...
Puss in Boots 2, they were like, Shrek 5? And everyone was like, yes.
Yes, we would like it if
they were like...
Never mind.
And then they were like... And they were like, Kung Fu Panda 4, but bad. And everyone was like,
what,
well, watch it, but why?
Why'd you do that?
I'm doing a fifth one.
Okay. Yay.
They're doing more How to Train Your Dragon. They're doing that live action How to Train.
They already made like way too much How to Train Your Dragon.
They did too many cartoons.
They did like 5 or 6. They made one that takes place in like modern day and like everyone's in like a historical figure.
Yeah, I saw that.
Everyone hated it. It's apparently really bad.
Yeah. I don't know. Adam Wingard, make that Thundercats movie and make it as good as that show that we watched.
Just make it a live action version of that show. Do that. That show was so cool. Remember when the blue guy betrayed them? And I was like, no, the blue guy was kind of cool.
Is that streaming on HBO Max?
Yeah, I think it is now, actually. Yeah.
Maybe I should rewatch Thundercats.
I have a feeling if I rewatch it, it's not going to be as good as I remember.
Of course it won't, because you were looking at it with rose-colored glasses.
No, but like most of the shows that I remember being really good are actually still really good. Like most of Ben 10 is still really good. Gumball is still really good.
This was getting watched by like 2 million people per episode in 2011. Crazy.
What was?
About Thundercats.
Yeah, it was freaking awesome.
Bro, if that was on now, that would be like the second most watched thing on all of television.
Papa was watching it with us.
Yeah.
See, that's how I remember if it's good or not, is if Papa also watched it, usually it was pretty good.
Thundercats, Clone Wars.
Those two shows. Hey, Clone Wars is really good.
Good. Probably going to bring that back. Would not be sure.
How do you do that, though? How?
Do more.
I think if Clone Wars was an actual war that happened, we have documented basically all of it.
Because now we know we're waiting on whatever the next like mainline Star Wars cartoon show is.
It'll be in High Republic era. I'm fine with that.
Oh, High Republic? Yeah, High Republic wouldn't be bad. Honestly, I would just want them to do like Tales of the Jedi, but like as an actual show.
Mm-hmm. And just follow like random Jedi Knights throughout history.
Yeah, just do like 20 episode seasons where like there's 4 episode arcs and there's just random Jedi stuff. Like give me an anthology series. Cool. I'd be fine with that. I don't know why they're dedicated to this like 2-3 episode 15-minute short series thing.
Yeah, I mean Tales of the Empire was pretty good.
Half of it was pretty good. The Morgan Elsbeth stuff was pretty.
It was kind of forgettable, but the rest was good.
Anyway, Sam, I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I think that. Let me see real quick if there was anything I put in our group chat that I want to talk about.
Anything? Oh, now's my favorite time of. Did anything happen while we were recording?
Oh, another guy is building another submarine to go to the Titanic. That's not really.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
Titanic's gonna eat another rich guy. Can't wait.
Spider-Gwen is part of the 616 continuity now. It's just that. A lot of sense. Ooh. Oh, cable's back. Like, fully, completely. It's, like, bundled with internet.
Oh, yeah, cable bundles are back, and now they're streaming
and it's bundled with internet. Like, straight up cable now.
Rad.
Okay, well, there was a movie announcement, but I don't know how we can...
What?
You know.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know how we can...
What? What is that even gonna be?
I genuinely don't know.
Like, what is... You can't...
What do you make the movie about?
What does he do in it?
Don't know. I have no idea.
Like
what part of his life do you cover?
The end of it, like the end was the important. Like I guess you could make it on like. I guess it would be less about him and more about like
the aftermath,
like
maybe?
the social impact.
I don't know. I also genuinely like, I don't.
Who's gonna want to play the cop, dude?
I don't.
Who you gonna get?
I don't know. If got an A grade.
Who's gonna want to play him? Also, did you see that like we got his daughter to sign off on it, but his daughter's like 9.
Right.
It means like you showed up to like.
Hey Timmy, you okay if we make a movie about your dead dad?
We'll give you a lollipop.
Like yeah, I don't know. That whole thing seems very off to me.
It feels very.
The vibes are very.
It feels
bad.
like really exploitative.
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. Who knows?
Won't. Anything can be good, but that will only either cause chaos or like.
Oh, Spider-Man 2 made $500K in its re-release.
Oh, Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Great. The Lego Zelda set that cost as much as a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Cool, but
I don't know how much there is to say. I mean, I like that it comes with all of the...
Why does it cost so much money?
Because they know we'll buy it.
You will. I'm not doing that crap.
I haven't decided. We'll see. If I have a lot of extra money for some reason...
If I take Sam to the Lego store after that set comes out, I guarantee you he will buy it.
I'll probably stare at it.
I won't even take any convincing. I'll be like, Sam, it's right there, grab it. And he'll be like, all right, and he'll grab it.
I want the Breath of the Wild Link figure so bad.
You just buy it from like less.
Can I though? Who's gonna be selling it?
Everyone's gonna be hoarding it.
Yeah.
Why did they have to? It's such a. I guess if you're gonna do something and you're just gonna be the dick, but it's such a lame.
Like, what else can you really do? Maybe the Hyrule Castle?
Yeah!
But that'd be too big.
But it's $300.
Yeah, so imagine if they made Hyrule Castle be like $1,000.
Legos are so expensive. They should not be that expensive.
Yeah, they really need to...
They're really scamming us.
The market needs to equalize for that. What's going on?
What is happening over at Lego, dude? They're charging like $50 for like the sets that used to be $12.
That Deku Tree set should be like $70 tops.
It's a big tree.
It's not that big. Like I looked at the set, it's like it's one of those ones that's just like half of the thing.
It's gonna be probably as big as like that spaceship, or like taller than that, but like that size.
No, it's like Thanos Gauntlet size. Look at the set.
It's $300.
Look at the picture of the set. It's not that big.
Dude, that's absurd. They know they can charge that for Zelda.
Yeah, because people have been wanting this set for decades. Because people have been asking for
Lego Zelda for 15 years. And they just know they can get away with it. Those crooks. Yeah, you're gonna buy it. I know you're gonna buy it.
Yeah, because this is something I've wanted since I was like 11 years old.
And they know they're like, immediately they were like the biggest possible, like the most expensive set we could make. They didn't do like, we're gonna do a $30 Zelda set. They're like, no.
Yeah, see, like it's like half, it's like just the front half of the tree.
Do they have one of those photos of it, like what it looks like on like a coffee table?
No. They don't,
because they're hiding it.
But you can see, you can see the
also,
scale.
Doesn't come out till September.
You can see the
1st.
scale with the little Link minifigure there. Like it's not that big of a set.
Yeah, that's not.
And that's like one of the kid minifigures. It's one of the new ones with the posable lip.
Oh yeah, because it comes with Kid Link, Old Link, Breath of the Wild Link, and
yeah. The figures are bangers. I don't have a problem with any of the figures. It's honestly just the size.
No,
they should have just made it like a bit bigger.
No, I just want a Link minifigure.
Yeah, that's really all.
That's all I want. I don't even care about the rest of it.
Why did it take them so long to do Zelda? How long have we?
They did Lego Mario like.
How long have we had Lego Mario
ago.
for? Yeah, and those sets also kind of. They're so bad.
They're very bad.
Why did they make it like a weird non-game game?
Why did they we're reviving Lego board games, but just for Mario and it's.
It's not even a board game. There's no game.
Dude, you just like have them.
You just move them around and say it's a game.
He just makes noises.
Like it's not a game. It's not a game. It's just straight up isn't a game.
Hang on, I gotta check to see.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much everything for today's episode of the McDonCast. Come back to our other channel for our review of Furiosa, where we'll get into that. But I think that's pretty much all we have to say for today.
Yeah, we'll be back next week to bemoan the state of the entertainment business.
Further, this show has just become the documentation of us just watching everything we love die.
Isn't life fun?
Mm-hmm.
I love
all right.
this.
Bye-bye. Bye.